Well, here we are. Clearly, a slow week in the NBA. Nothing going on. The start of the season. By the way, that's Brendan Haywood. I'm Rick Bucher. This is Finding the Seams. We're going to dive right into it because there's a lot to get to, and we won't get to all of it. And I thought like Victor Wembanyama's 40 and 15, and we might have been sleeping on him, or the double overtime with Oklahoma City and the Houston Rockets might be. I mean, there was a lot of fodder there to begin with, right? And then the news broke. For those you all, by the time you're seeing this, you will have heard Chauncey Billups being arrested by the FBI for a poker ring and other gambling interests supposedly tied with the mafia. All of this is being reported. It hasn't been confirmed. The details are still widely varying from report to report. But Brendan, your first reaction to hearing the news that Chauncey Billups in particular, because we've had a couple other guys mention, Chauncey Billups in particular was connected to this situation.
Yeah, I was surprised because I know Chauncey, and Chauncey just never came off as somebody that would be involved in something like this. So I still want to get all of the information before I really make huge comments on it because there are some guys that if you hear their name, it makes sense. Like, yeah, that guy was a big time gambler. I could see how this guy got into
Yeah.
some situations with the mafia or these gambling rings, but around the league, Chauncey wasn't known as that.
Yeah.
So like it definitely took me by surprise, and especially the way it was reported because at first it sounded like he was like somehow influencing basketball games,
Right.
and then you start really reading and doing the research and saying, okay, he's indicted for gambling, but not the same as let's say like someone like Terry Rozier.
Right.
Chauncey's is basically has to do with illegal poker and somehow multiple mafia families, which is
Right.
seriously dangerous. Though you don't want to mess with the mafia. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to mess with them.
So this is my first question. When it comes to NBA players, and you would think all the time that I've spent around the league that I would know this, but I don't, which is like how much of a presence is there of the underworld or shady organizations when it comes to NBA players? I mean, is that something that you guys have to be aware of and steer clear of? Is it like right there? Or does it take a little bit of doing to connect with organizations like that?
Me personally, I wouldn't know because I don't gamble. Like losing money makes my soul hurt. Like
Hmm.
I'm like when I go to Vegas, I never gamble. Like I'm not. You're not going to catch me at the blackjack table.
Hmm.
I tried it once before, and I just don't like losing large sums of money. And being at like the $25 table just makes no sense to me. It just
Right.
it's such a small amount of money that I don't feel like I'm doing anything. So gambling is not for me. But every year as a player, we have gambling meetings. And when you have the gambling meetings, actually, this even goes back to college. When you go to the Final Four, the FBI pulls you in. Hey, don't, they had this thing, don't bet on it was the slogan. And they would show you these videos and they would talk to you about how people in some of these crime families try to burrow their ways into your life. And through the league, they would give us these different meetings and they would tell us, hey, if you get down and you lose money to the mob, they'll try to leverage you. Once you make one bet with the mafia, they'll leverage you. They'll hold that over your head. They even talked about different types of schemes where they would try to catch guys. I won't go too far in compromising positions and
Hmm.
and threaten to expose maybe alternative lifestyles or different things to their wife. They would hold that over your head allegedly. And once again, I don't know any of this happened to anybody that I know,
Yeah.
but this is what was being told to me in meetings sanctioned by the NBA. Like, yeah, listen, this is how the mafia will try to get to you in these situations and get you to do certain things as far as from a gambling standpoint. So they were having those meetings in 2001 when I got to the league. So I'm guessing they're still having them now.
Yeah.
So the mafia can definitely reach you if you are leverageable.
There's signs in every locker room as you go in and entry exit. Big signs about gambling. They seem to be more prominent now than they've ever been. Obviously, because of the relationship that the NBA has created, the business relationship that it's created with certain gambling outfits. The fan the fan question to me is Chauncey, whether it's Chauncey, Terry, or Rozier, it's any NBA player, professional athlete, you're making tons of money. You have resources to make additional tons of money. Why risk it all? Presumably, you're trying to make money gambling. Like, that's the attraction. I mean, I guess some of it is just the thrill, but why risk all of that with something that could take away your earning power at that level for the rest of your life?
Because people that gamble are addicted to gambling. It's an
Mm.
addiction. A lot of times, like, so if they can get you in on that addiction, and like I said, it might start out you're gambling on poker, and you get down to the wrong person a really big sum of money. I can tell you this: I don't know anybody that has lost money to the mafia. But I do know guys in certain types of games that have lost money to people that we'll call them street dudes,
Okay.
guys that make their money in the street. And when you get down to people like that, there's no links of what they won't, will, or won't do to get
Mm.
their money. And if you do not have it, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Your family is in trouble. So, like I said, I don't know anything from the mafia standpoint, but I do know guys that got down to street guys. And it's just certain guys have gambling habits. Like I've seen guys gambling at casinos. Yo, man, I walk. How many you up? Man, I'm down. How much you down? 250. They
Mm.
down 250, sweating, down big. So like guys have these habits, they're bad habits, and then those habits get exploited. And a lot of times that's how, whether it be, we'll just say that's how a criminal element can find its way into a millionaire's life. They basically
Yeah.
figure out a way to leverage you.
No, I get it. I understand that part of it. Actually, when I think about it, we've had Malik Beasley and Jonte Porter and Terry Rozier and
Woo!
now
Have you seen the
Chauncey
Malik
Billups.
Beasley defensive clips? I ain't saying he guilty. Hey, I ain't never seen defense that
Right.
bad.
Well, hey, Gilbert Arenas, same boat. Like,
Hey, chill,
there's a couple
relax.
guys that were under under the microscope, and now suddenly they're not. It does make you wonder. Here's the other part, though, that when we got into the details with Chauncey, and it was a poker ring, right?
Mhm.
And it's the FBI, and we're making this big announcement. And by the way, we're making this big announcement, what, right on the start of the NBA season? Like,
Definitely on purpose. Definitely
without
on purpose.
without question. And that's so then it became for me, I'm thinking, all right, hold on. A poker ring? Like a poker ring. How many people in the country, in the world are have some sort of side hustle poker thing going, regular poker thing going on. Now,
Yeah, but this is different, Rick. This ain't like your regular poker game between a couple of guys in the neighborhood in their basement. You got guys take, I think it's called a rake. If you're taking a rake, if you're taking something off the top of every
yeah,
hand, if you're charging a large sums of money for people to join this poker tournament, that's illegal. And then on top of that, these games were fixed. Listen, I've heard of fixed poker games. Listen, there's fixed dice games where guys are losing money with loaded dice. All of this is exploiting high-end athletes, celebrities, and entertainers.
yeah.
Like there's a lot of illegal gambling going on, and some of it is just flat out cheating to defraud people that you know have lots of money.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing for me is there's a lot of this. This isn't
Mhm.
like Chauncey's and whatever he's involved in, or Gilbert, whatever he's involved in,
Why you keep bringing my man Gil up, man? Hey, man,
because
Gil's
because
clean right now.
he was accused of The exact same
Gil,
thing.
Gil said he just rented the house out. You're not gonna do my man Gilbert Arenas. Gil said he
Oh
just
wait.
rented the house out,
All
and the
right, hold on.
mafia just happened to be running poker games there.
Let's
That's
hold
his
on.
story. I'm gonna believe it.
Hold on. Hold on. You were teammates with Gil. You've told
Yeah,
stories about Gil. Like you
yeah.
said, like what was it you said? What was you said at the very beginning? You said, there's certain guys that if you told me they were doing this, I'd go, yeah, that probably makes sense because I could see that. Gil is one of those guys, and Gil
I'm,
is an
I'm, I'm not.
equal opportunity dude. Whatever it is that's crazy, and you go, you didn't think that through. Whatever it is, and you said Gil was involved in it, 99% of the people would go, "Oh yeah, I can see that." So don't stop with the
I'm the
fake,
one. I'm the
stop with
one
the fake
percent. I'm the
support
one
of your
percent
former
that can't
teammate.
see it. I'm the 1% that can't see it.
So here's the bigger question, because I do think that there's a part of this that I can't feel like it's not theater. The timing of it, what he's being accused of, until we get more details. Yeah, is it underhanded? Yeah, could I mean, does Chauncey lose? Does he get kicked out of the Hall of Fame? Does he lose that if this ends up being proved?
Listen, man. If you're caught in something as unsavory as this, there's no telling what you could lose. You could lose your ability to walk the earth and have to go to jail.
Mm,
You could lose a certain amount of money that has to be restored. You could lose. You definitely will lose credibility. You could lose the Hall of Fame. You could lose everything. We're talking because, like I said, we don't know what is what just yet because it's so early on in
yeah,
the story. But we're talking about being associated with multiple mafia families.
yeah.
That is what we're talking about, an illegal poker ring that involved multiple mafia families that defrauded people out of between $7 to $10 million. That is what is being reported right now. If that is actually true, and
Mhm.
Chauncey is really involved, and this is they're saying there's extensive cheating going on. Let me make sure I got the list of what they actually said was going on in these games. They said they had X-ray machines built
Yeah.
into tables so they could read face-down cards, contact lenses slash glasses that could read pre-marked cards, secret cameras and card trays. Um, and you once again, you're dealing with the mafia, so there's no
Mhm.
telling who you actually cheated out of your money. You don't tell who you cheated out of this bread. Like jail might be the safest place for you. Oh, I'm just saying, like in this situation, we don't know what's true and what's fake. But
Yeah.
what's being accused is wild for a guy that made over $100 million, is in the Hall of Fame,
Mhm.
worked on TV making very good money,
Mhm.
and then he's coaching making $9 to $10 million right now.
No question. But
So this,
again,
yeah, this
that's
is
what begs.
wild.
You said $7 to $10 million, and to the average person, that's a lot. To me, it's a lot.
That average, that's a lot to me right now.
But in the big picture, in the big scheme of things, in the of all the things that are going on in the world, $7 to $10 million being scammed in a poker game or a poker ring. Maybe the shock value of things, I'm just not shocked by anything anymore. But I can't feel, and this is where I started. I can't feel like some of this is theater. So, and not to be a conspiracy theorist, but the fact that the FBI was chasing this and that we can bang on the NBA and NBA players. We know that the NBA has been very anti this administration. Like, am I connecting dots that shouldn't be connected? That this is somewhat, you know what, we're gonna put a black mark on the NBA because you never supported this administration. Am I going too far? Am I putting a tinfoil hat on? Because I just look at the timing of it and the what's going on, and yes, it's I don't know what Chauncey was thinking if this indeed was the deal, but it also, in the scope of all the things that are going on in the world, I'm sorry, I just I don't I can't get all that hung up on it, and I'm not sure that fans are going to be all that hung up on it.
I'm normally not a person that's deep into the conspiracy theories because
Hmm.
a lot of them are just flat out crazy. But I will say this: I don't think that you're crazy.
You what?
I do not think that you're crazy. I don't
Okay.
think that this is because, like you said, everything going on for the FBI to be involved seems a little,
It
like
seems
you said, it seems,
it
it
seems
seems weird.
extreme.
It seems extreme for the amount of money that's going on, especially when we're talking. But at the same time, maybe they're trying to leverage Chauncey to roll on somebody else. I don't know what is going on, but I won't say that I all the way believe your theory, but I won't discount it.
Yeah.
I know better than to just discount certain things because you come back 5, 10, 15 years from now, then you get one of those stories and you realize, wow, yeah, this really was bigger than just a poker game. It was really about X, Y, and Z. And so it's just, we're going to have to see how this plays itself out. But for Chauncey Billups, a Hall of Famer, to be anywhere tied to the mafia seems flat out crazy. That was not on my bingo card. I did not expect to be talking about that today after
Yeah.
what Wemby did to Anthony Davis last night.
There you go. And we're going to get to that in a second. I want to ask you one more question on this subject before we move on. And that is, if you're a Portland Trailblazers player right now, what are you thinking? How are you viewing your head coach and your situation with the team right now?
If you're a Portland Trailblazers player, they're just like us. They're probably shocked. They're probably wondering what's going on. They probably because Chauncey's always been a private person too, so they probably like he doesn't give off that gambling type of aura. He's like I said, I don't know him to be that. So
Hmm.
these guys are probably shocked. They probably couldn't see their coach in that light. But then on the flip side, you're thinking, okay, I got a job to do. I got to go back out there on the court very soon. We got to figure out how to get past this. And no one in the league is going to feel sorry for us. So when we get on the court, it can't be about anything other than basketball.
Yeah. It's I've always been impressed by NBA players in particular, athletes in general, their ability to compartmentalize. Like, that's this thing over here, but I got this to do over here. Or just when it comes to individuals, like I'm playing with a guy who does this or did this, but I'm trying to win a game. So I'm going to try to go out and win a game, and I'm not going to be affected by that. At the same time, I have seen, like, when the Seattle team moved to Oklahoma City in the middle of the night, like, that team was just was shook. That affected them that whole season. When DeMarcus Cousins was under, like, wondering what was going on with the Sacramento Kings and all of that, like, I know that affected him. I know situations like that can affect players. So, do you see this having a huge effect on the Blazers season?
From a player standpoint, no. I
Okay.
think, like you said, players are going to go out there and play. This isn't like a death, where somebody passed and it's like, man, what? Like it's hard to get past it.
Is this different than, say, something happening with your family?
Yes.
Like Andrew Wiggins with his dad being sick or whatever. Like, does this doesn't hit the same way as suddenly have to move or somebody's sick in the family or anything like
Uh,
that?
listen, man. Unfortunate. I'll put it to you, not unfortunate. I'll put it to you like this: there's a level of business that still goes on in everybody's mind. Hey, man, somebody's still got to lead this team in scoring. Might as well be me.
Hmm.
If you're a big man, hey, man, somebody got to go out there and get these rebounds. Might as well be me.
Hmm.
Somebody's got to come off the bench and be our spark. Might as well be me. Then there's other guys that's like, Coach Billups didn't like me anyway. This
Hmm.
is my opportunity. Yeah, I'll never forget when Eddie Jordan got fired. Andre Blatch might have been the happiest person in the world because he was like, this is my opportunity.
Hmm.
Coach Jordan had even, and this is wild that this even happened. Coach Jordan had told people on the team, players, that Ernie Grunfeld wanted him to play Andre Blatch, but he wasn't going for that, so he wasn't going to play him. Yeah, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. So once word had gotten back to Blatch from multiple players, like this was actually said in a meeting with Coach Jordan to multiple leaders on our team. Once word got back to Blatch could never play for this. In his mind, it was just like, oh, he don't want to see me do good.
Yep.
It's a power struggle between the GM and the head coach. And the look on Blatch's face when Eddie Jordan got fired is like, here's my opportunity.
Yeah.
So there's a business element to this where some guys might be wondering what's going to go on with their coach, and then there's other guys that's like, okay, this is my opportunity to crack the rotation.
Yeah.
There's other guys like, hey, coach wanted this guy to be on a team like Portland, like they got 3 or 4 guys that could be the leading scorer. Coach wanted this guy to be the leading scorer. It's my opportunity now. So there's a lot of people that will look at this as, depending on their relationship with Chauncey, some might feel bad, but there will be a lot of guys within that locker room that see an opportunity to reestablish the pecking order, whether that's scoring, minutes, or whatever it may be. Because I never forget, if you could have seen the look on Blatch's face when he walked in that locker room and realized Eddie Jordan was no longer there.
Wow. All right, let's move on. I'm sure we're going to have to, we'll be unpacking more of this. This is not the end of this story by any stretch of the imagination, but let's get to some of the events of this week that actually happened on the basketball court, starting with the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama taking down someone who was at the beginning of last year, if I'm not mistaken, in the MVP conversation and Defensive Player of the Year conversation. And at least one person I can think of had his current team as a top 4 in the West.
What person was that?
That would be me.
Okay.
That team got mollywopped by Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs, who were also not in your top 4 in the West. So, not to make too much of one game, but I don't even know how to put into words what I saw from Victor Wembanyama in terms of doing things that I'm like, I don't know that I've ever seen a player ever do some of the things that he did so easily.
We're not making much of, I'm not going to say we're making too much of one game. This was a huge game. This was a statement game. This was a game everybody's watching. A game, hey, and a lot of people, as much as Wemby is incredible, a lot of people tuned in to see Cooper Flag.
Yep.
A lot of people tuned in to see the Cooper Flag show, and guess what? Wemby stole the spotlight. Okay, Wemby was like, you might have tuned in to see Cooper, but you're going to see all of me.
Yeah.
And it was right from the jump. You could see it. And it would be one thing if Wemby did this against a bottom tier defensive lottery team. But he did this to Anthony Davis and Derek Lively. The play where he blocks Derek Lively's shot, then comes down the court and hits him with that, and he shifts him. Lively goes the wrong way. Wemby goes down the lane. The defensive player steps over, so then he steps it back for the and one. Come on, fam. Come on. Listen, he is doing. That's 2 of the best defensive players we have in the league from a big man standpoint. And Wemby looked like he was at their neck all night long. In my mind, this is Wembanyama basically announcing to the league, all you old dogs is over for you.
Yeah.
It's my time. And the reason why I love it is when you talk to people behind the scenes, they say this young man is an elite talent, but he just wants to get better.
Yeah.
He's not into all the trappings of being a star. Like, I had a guy tell me in the offseason, he was at dinner with Wemby. Wemby got up at 8:45 and was like, all right, guys, got to go. He's like, where's he going? And they were like, oh, yeah, he goes to bed between 9 to 9:30 because he tracks his sleep. he has to be asleep at a certain time so he can go get his rest. This is in the off season.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. At 9:30, I wasn't going to bed in the regular season at 9:30. In the off season, just know in the off season I was up. Okay, I was outside. That's what they would say. I was
Yeah.
outside,
Yeah.
and he is going to bed. So at 9:30 in the off season, so he can prepare, so he can train. You talk to people around him. Not only does he have to train his body, he's questing for knowledge. He has to read a certain amount of books
Yeah.
every single week. Like he is on a different. The man was a 7'4" monk. I looked up in July. Like, when did Wemby become a monk? Like, Wemby is on a different trajectory. His quest for knowledge to be great, and I think I got this from Greg Popovich. When I interviewed Greg Popovich about Wemby, it was his rookie year, and he said we had a game down there, and he said, Brendan, he's going to be so much better because for the first time, this is going to be the first time he gets to work on his game in the offseason.
Hmm.
And he has really put that to the test these last two off seasons because think about when he was younger, he's playing for the French national team. He has all these different obligations.
Yeah.
It wasn't a summer of just, hey, get in the gym every day at this time, work on your jab step, work on your crossover. And he's using it. He's calling Jamal Crawford. So Jamal Crawford's showing him the handle moves. He's going to go work out with Akeem Olajuwon so he gets the low post moves. Fast forward, he's taking all that and blending it into one. I'm seeing him post up, jab, step, fade on Anthony Davis. Then a couple plays later, I'm seeing a 7'4", 7'5" guy be the lead ball handler in a pick and roll, and the pick is being set by the point guard. How do you guard that? You don't. All the old dogs, the old guard, Wemby is putting everybody on notice. They smoked the Mavs, and that's without the Aaron Fox.
Yeah. This is the crazy part for me. The move that got me was off the wing, off the dribble. I can't remember who it was he shook. He shook somebody. He's got a straight line. The big comes over to help. He takes a step on this side of the bucket and then reverses it and reverse dunks it. Like, bah, bah, bah. And I'm thinking, I've never you've seen Dr. J, you've seen Michael, you've seen but that from a guy that size who made it look so easy. I just thought there's no answer for that. Like you can't possibly do anything from the beginning of a big like that who could shake you that hard. And it wasn't a big, it was a guard that he shook. And then he gets to the rim and he just the help doesn't even exist for him because he can just reverse dunk it. But here's the thing. You said at the very beginning, you framed it as if like he was jealous or he wanted to let everybody know, hey, Cooper Flagg's not the big dog here. This is what gets me about Wemby. And he kind of talked about it after the game, is his motivation. And you got back to it later about like the star trappings or wanting to be a star. I really think the injury to his shoulder and the question about being able to play and his health and all of that, I think that's the real driving force here is that, we often say, sometimes the worst things that happen to us end up being the biggest gifts because they teach us something that we wouldn't have otherwise learned. That made him at a very young age, at a very early time in his career when most guys are just glad to be in the NBA, gave him a sense of how precious time is and how fragile that career is in the NBA. And he's now of the motivation like, man, I can't mess around because I don't know when this might be over. So I got to get after it now. And I think that kind of motivation, man, you can't put a price tag on that.
He's different. He's just different. He's different from the fact that he's 7'4", can handle like a guard. He's different from this mindset. He's wise beyond his years. We're talking about a guy going to bed at 9:30 in the offseason, wanting to read a ton of books.
Mm-hmm.
An avid chess player. He's going out playing chess in the middle of the park with random people, these chess grandmasters, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
He is different. And then to your point, when you're young, you think that time is never going to run out. You think you're going to be young forever. You feel invincible,
Yep.
and you feel like it's going to be your time forever. It's my world. They say youth is wasted on the young. And somebody like Wemby got that calling card last year, like, hey, for the first time, what I love has been taken from me. And it looks like he was already a worker, but it looks like he got after it even more based upon that injury. Like, hey, I really love hooping. It was taken away from me. I don't have all the time in the world. We never
Right.
know when this is going to be up. And he was playing like that. Like, hey, game one, I'm letting you know what it is off the jump. I don't care if you got Anthony Davis over there that was a defensive player over there, defensive player of the year. I don't care if you got Derek Lively, an insane defensive player in his own right, playing with Anthony Davis. They can both get this work.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what happened. Listen, he lined up Anthony Davis and Derek Lively, and he
Yeah.
hooked them boys up to a Ford F-150 and drugged them all around the gym.
It's true. It's true. I had a chance to talk to Pop about Wemby. As I've mentioned, I finished a book. It'll be out in May. The value of being coachable, and I had a chance to talk to Pop about coaching Tim and coaching Manu, and it started with Richard Jefferson, because Richard Jefferson will tell you that going to San Antonio extended his career by 10 to 12 years, but he had to become amenable to what Pop was trying to teach him and to be able to accept playing a role. And so in the course of that, Pop and I got to talking about Wemby, because I asked him, I said, Pop, you like, why are you still doing this? Like, you love traveling the world. There's all sorts of things that you love to do. And one was, well, I can do that during the off season. I still enjoy this. But the other part was, he wanted to get Wemby off on the right foot the same way that he did with Tim Duncan.
Mm.
Because Tim Duncan, when he first took him to Summer League, like, Tim Duncan wasn't allowed to, he had to work on his weaknesses. And he had to have the humility to accept, I'm not going to always look like the number one pick, because I'm working on my weaknesses. And he went through the same thing with Wemby. If you remember early on in his rookie year, everybody was all gaga about Chet Holmgren, who'd already had an entire year to get ready for the NBA. And they were just kind of letting him loose. And they weren't with Wemby. Like, Wemby was limited to playing a certain way within the system. And then behind the scenes, Pop and he were working on footwork and working on different moves and doing all of that. And now you're seeing all that come to fruition. Like, they wanted to have to develop a complete package with him, rather than just have him rely on strengths that obviously he could have been relying on and won Rookie of the Year and done all kinds of things. But now he's got elements to his game. To your point, you're like, when have we seen this in this young of a player with that kind of size? It's really remarkable. They're creating a monster. Here's my question for you:
Mm.
is, as an American player, look, we've had Jokic and Giannis and Luka's in the wings and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Are we ever going to win MVP again?
Not no time soon.
Man, and with
Not anytime soon.
even with Team USA, I'm thinking, you got Wemby leading France, the other talent that they have there. Like, is our
I'm just
number up
saying
when it comes to international play too?
no, because the depth that we have. Like, we have more
We've
depth.
been living on that depth, and it's gotten closer and closer.
Yeah, it's gotten
This,
closer and closer.
I'm not putting
But
past Wemby being able to do
but but
anything.
see but see here's the thing when you look at Team USA basketball. All the really good players in the NBA are going to be on Team USA.
Yeah,
The foreign guys are going to be broken up. Wemby's going to be in France. Luka's going to be in Slovenia. You got Giannis is going to be with Greece. Like,
yeah,
it'd be one thing if they were all coming together, we'd be in trouble. But SGA is going to be in Canada. Like,
yeah.
like we played. Like, you saw what. Like, SGA wasn't in the final game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
All right.
it's just.
So let's put it this way: They've talked about the All-Star game about having like USA versus the rest of the world. That could get ugly.
Not really.
You're okay.
I don't think honestly the reason why I don't think it'll get ugly. I don't. I don't think those guys. Well, it could get ugly. I don't think those guys care. The All Star game has become the
Yeah.
Pro Bowl,
Yeah.
where the energy and effort are no longer there. So the fans no longer want to see it. I don't think you can. I don't think that horse is going back in the barn. Like
Yeah.
the days of '90s, early 2000s All Star games are over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Well, why do you think that is?
Hmm?
Why do you think that the All-Star game, like the guys just, I mean, I have a theory. Why do you think guys just don't care, or it's just not that important to guys anymore?
The stars of the league have to care. Like I know for a fact, like Jordan was forcing guys to play hard in All Star games. They
Hmm.
would they were bets like yo. Now it might not seem like a lot of money to some of these other guys, but they were six-figure bets. Hey, all the All Stars got you. Everybody on the All Star, both sides. We putting up our own money. Let's say it's like everybody puts up 100 grand,
Mm-hmm.
both sides.
This was under Jordan.
Yeah. Everybody got to put it up. Like yo, we going out there to win this money.
Let's hope Cash Patel's not listening to this podcast right
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's one of those things. Like, hey, Jordan, you saw what Kobe did, like
now.
in the All Star game. Like, he was playing at a certain. Like, yeah, I understand we're having fun, but we're still getting after it.
Yeah.
And if your best guys don't take it serious, then the other guys don't take it
Yeah.
serious. Like I said, like if you walk into an All Star game and let's whoever you think the top 5 to 6 guys in the world, they walk in there and they get in front of guys like, yo, we are playing hard tonight. And
Hmm.
if you don't want to play hard, don't show up. You're going to get embarrassed. I guarantee you the quality of the game will be better.
Yeah.
That's
So,
just what has to happen.
and this is why I think that the top players don't care as much anymore. And it's because there's so much that goes on over the course of All-Star weekend. And it's not even a weekend now. It's like 4 or 5 days. It starts on Wednesday or Thursday. As soon as guys land, there's business deals being done. There's appearances. There's so much stuff going on that has more value than the outcome of the game, that I just think guys are exhausted by the time they get to Sunday, or they've done so much that is of greater priority to them in their world, that the idea of playing hard on Sunday is just like, for what?
They're exhausted. Hey man, listen. I've seen guys fly into a city, stay out till 6 a.m. and said star give another team 40. I don't want to hear about exhausted. I've seen guys kick it, and come back in a real game. So you can't tell me, yeah, because you had a couple of business deals and a couple of fancy brunches that you can't play hard in the All-Star
No,
game.
no, no, no.
Rick, you soft. Rick, you soft, Rick.
It's
You
not.
getting soft on me, man.
It's not. It's not the energy. It's the intention. It's the value of it. Like I got all these other deals going on. What's the importance to me? It used to be like it was the best against the best, and there were bragging rights. And I think some of this is socially driven or culturally driven. Like fans don't really care. Like we complain that it's not a good game, but
Yeah.
in the big scheme of things, are we judging anybody by how they play in the All-Star game? Once upon a time we did. Once upon a
Well,
time we wanted to see somebody cook somebody else.
well, the
Now
fans
we
do
don't
care.
really care.
Well, the fans do care. That's why attendance at the All Star game is down, and that's why the ratings of the All Star game is down because you can't cheat the people. The people understand what they're watching, and they're not getting their money's worth from an energy and effort standpoint, so it doesn't have the same luster. And that's where, like I said, the All Star game, unfortunately, I feel is going to be very similar to the Pro Bowl. And the Pro Bowl eventually went away. They don't really even have the Pro Bowl. They have the
Yeah.
activities,
They just have
but no
which I think
one.
is what the NBA should do.
That's
They should just
exactly
have
where I was
skill
going to.
contests.
Yes, I think one-on-one 3-point competition
Yep.
and dunk competition would be way better than an All-Star game. That's
I'm
just
with
me
you.
though. But we off topic talking about the All-Star game. You got us all off track. You got us all off kilter.
Yeah. You're right. I took us a little too far. So, look at opening night was actually Tuesday night. We talked a lot about Wemby and the Spurs, and it is interesting. I guarantee you, Wemby will be playing opening night next year. The
Yes.
San Antonio Spurs will be one of the two games on Tuesday night to start next season. That said, we had Lakers versus Warriors in the nightcap, and we had Oklahoma City against Houston in the first game. What was your takeaway? If there's a big picture takeaway from those two games, what was it?
My only big picture takeaway is for Houston. They better find a playmaker or a point guard somewhere. Even though this game was close, everything for Houston on the offensive end looked hard.
Hmm.
Like with like watching Sengun try to score from the top of the key. That's a hard way to live. KD, it's always an ISO. Um, I know Twin is super athletic, but he's
He's not a
not
point
really a
guard. He's not a
he's not
point
a
forward.
he's not a point guard. He's 0 of 7. He was 0 of 7 from three. Teams going underneath the screen on him. The biggest thing I saw from Houston is they really miss Fred VanVleet.
Hmm.
And if they don't find a way to replace that veteran point guard, they don't get a veteran point guard or a playmaker, they're going to be in trouble. And that's like people used to always ask me, what's the difference between LeBron James and KD? I'm talking about when KD was at the height of his powers, and so was LeBron, and they'd be like, "Oh, KD's better than LeBron, and LeBron's better than KD," and I would always say, "Listen, I respect both of these dudes, but the difference between LeBron and KD is LeBron can pick and choose what type of night it's going to be for him.
Hmm.
He can go for 50 or he can get 20 assists.
Mm-hmm.
He's a playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Playmakers are more valuable than
Mm-hmm.
scorers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is. That's why
Yep.
Jokic is so valuable. He's a playmaker.
Yep.
At any time, he can turn it up. But at the same time, he can be at the elbow getting guys easy shots on the weak side also. And so Houston doesn't have a playmaker, an elite playmaker
Yep.
on the roster. They don't have a true point guard that can serve as a de facto playmaker on the roster. And if they don't find that, I don't care how good KD is. I don't care how good the defense is. This team is going to struggle because the best teams normally have a playmaker and then they have 2 to 3 playmakers behind that guy. So even when if it's an off night, like if you look at a team like OKC, if SGA doesn't have it going, you got J Dub who can come out there, and we saw what he was able to do and have his moments in the playoffs, and that's with a thumb that needed surgery. You need that other playmaker,
Hmm.
and they don't have it.
Yeah. Just looking around, and I wouldn't know we didn't prep for this, but if you're looking around and you're saying somebody that might be available, like a gettable, serviceable point guard, I have somebody in mind? Do you?
I'm thinking serviceable guys that you could get. Um, I can't. What is Buddy's name? He used to back up Ja Morant.
Oh, the
Every
guy that
time
was in
Ja,
Cleveland. The guy was in Cleveland last year.
no. Every
Not
time he was back,
not Tyus
he went to
Jones.
Duke. Jones, yes, like a
Tyus Jones.
Tyus Jones type.
Yeah.
Like think about it. Every time Ja Morant went out, it was 2 years ago, but Memphis still did well. He kept them on schedule. Your playmaker ain't got to be the best. He got to be a guy that understands how to come off the pick and roll, hit Sengun in the pocket, and now Sengun gets to work going downhill as opposed to working from the top of the key. You got to have that guy, and they don't have it.
So why didn't it work with Tyus Jones in Phoenix last year? Because I would agree
Because
with you. And I thought when they got him, I was thinking like, that's a good fit because he can space the floor. He can be your floor general. He can direct things. You're not asking Devin to play that role. You're not asking KD to play that role. Like he could orchestrate things, and it never took. And that was my concern. That's my concern with Houston because I've seen Tyus Jones, and for whatever reason, didn't seem to have the respect of those other stars.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like when you watch why didn't it work is because Tyus Jones isn't a big enough name to be like, yo. hey, you go over there. No, no, no. You had the ball last time. Get out the way, D Book. I'm gonna get it to this guy that time. Like, nah, he doesn't have the cachet to do that. And sometimes that's about personality. Some guys just have that personality where they feel that they can do that. And that's kind of the reason why it didn't work,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But if you have stars that are willing to listen and are coachable and are willing to say, okay, I'm going to give up the ball a little bit because I know it's going to mean more for my teammates and that will help us win, I think that will go a long way. But the biggest thing is they need multiple playmakers, man. They need to find some playmakers.
What about a guy like CP3?
2-0.
I was going to say, he has the gravitas, he has the respect to organize them. I just don't know that he has enough game left for where Houston wants to go.
Yeah, you gotta have a playmaker that still got that ump. And like I said, Chris Paul's had a great career, one of the best point guards of all time, but he's too old to be the playmaker. Like Houston, like they don't have it. Whoever the playmaker is needs to play a lot of minutes. If you talk to anybody, and I know you have, if you've talked to anybody in Houston, they would tell you last year we go as far as Fred VanVleet.
Yep.
When they would to them, it didn't matter if you talked to people that were calling the games, coaches, players. They all talked about the value of VanVleet. He is not going to play this year with the ACL injury. They have not replaced that leadership playmaker style. And Fred is not the most athletic guy in the world, but
Now,
he kept
yep,
Houston on schedule.
yep,
They need somebody that's going to keep them on schedule. Right now, I know they put up 125 points. I know it was a very close game. But that roster is a flawed roster right now.
mm-hmm,
After one game, anybody that knows hoops is like, yeah, they ain't got enough playmakers. They're not going to be there in the end. Like when you got to go win 3 or 4 series to try to win a championship, and you don't have any playmakers. All you have is just one giant scorer.
yeah.
That ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work.
This is the part that they've got to adjust to, which is I'm not giving KD the ball at the top of the arc. I'm not asking KD what I'm not asking him to dribble drive because I've seen it. I've seen it. First of all, they're going to put a guard on him, and you're a 7-footer. You're naturally going to have a high dribble. That's always going to be dangerous. You're going to have to get into traffic. And I saw that with OKC in crunch time. It was difficult for him. Now, what Golden State did was they would put him at the elbow, they would put him at the mid post, and they'd say, "You got all you need is 2 dribbles. 2 dribbles, you're at the baseline. You don't even need a dribble. You got to turn around right here. Like 2 dribbles, you can get to the rim, and that's manageable." But what they were asking him to do, I was like, that is not going to work. And you saw it down the stretch. He had one clear turnover where he dribbled it off his foot, and he should have had a second one where Jabari Smith hit the 3 from the corner. That was the second one. It is a roll of the dice when you're asking KD to handle the ball like a point guard. And again, not to belabor what Wemby did, but that's what's different about Wemby. Wemby's 7'5". He dribbles like a guard. That ball's about 8 inches off the floor as he's attacking. That's not KD.
If you think back to a couple episodes ago, I talked about Anthony Edwards working on his mid-range game and how that mid-range game allows you to score from multiple areas on the court without using maximum effort.
Yep.
And I talked about how that's what they did with Dirk in Dallas. And you're saying the exact same thing. Exactly. That's exactly what Golden State did with KD. When you're playing against KD, one-on-one, he can get his shot off against anybody. But when you're trying to stop KD, there's certain rules. And if you have the personnel, you got to have the personnel, to pull them off, you can make life tough on them. First and foremost, you got to have somebody with size, 6'5" to 6'9", 6'10", that has the quickness to get up underneath them, right?
Yep.
That's one part because you can't let them get the jumper off. It's too good. The second part is you got to have rules. You have to be sending KD to a direction because you never want KD playing in space. He feels comfortable that way. He works all summer on his individual moves. You got to take that away. So once you get that guy that has between 6'5" to 6'9", that has athletic ability, once he gets underneath KD, you're forcing him to a certain part of the court
Yep.
where a double or another teammate will be waiting on him, and you're going to force him to make the right pass all game long. That is how you defend Kevin Durant. It takes 2 to 3 guys with a certain type of height and skill set, and you're forcing him to play in a box. He doesn't like that.
Yep.
That has been the strategy to beat Kevin Durant since 2010. And the reason why it works so well in Golden State, they put him in the mid post, but there was so much shooting, you couldn't run that strategy.
Right.
So he got to play one on
Yep.
one.
Yep.
And one on one, he's still one of the best at scoring the basketball. Ain't
Yep.
seen nothing like it.
Yep. No, agreed. How much of this is Ime Udoka has to figure out a workaround
There is
on
no
this?
workaround.
Yeah.
I mean, Ime's a coach, not a magician. Like he can't make 3 playmakers just appear. Like
Yeah.
like if, there's nothing that like Ime actually used that strategy to beat KD. Go back and look at KD in Brooklyn and look at what they did to beat him when Ime was in Boston.
Yeah.
It's the exact strategy. So like he knows the strategy the teams are going to use. Hell, he used it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that's like, is your front when you go to your front office and say, hey, said playmakers available, we need that guy. Will they go get him? Do they have the assets to trade? Will they make a move? But I don't know whether it's free agency. I don't know if they're going to wait to the buyout period. I don't know if it's going to be a trade. Whatever it's going to be, Houston has to do something to get 1 to 2 playmakers in there. They need multiple playmakers on that roster. Right now, everything they do offensively, even when they score, looks incredibly hard.
Yep. Agreed. The one other big takeaway that I had from opening night was watching Warriors Lakers, or watching OKC and Houston, and then watching the Warriors and the Lakers. And it was so clear to me that the page has turned. Like the game that I saw with OKC and Houston was, I mean, it was the Lakers Warriors game was interesting. Luka Doncic had a game. Steph had his moments. Warriors might be a little bit better than I thought they were going to be, but I don't see either one of the teams in the nightcap being able to compete. Certainly not with Oklahoma City, and even Houston with the problems that they have. I just think the size and the athleticism and the speed with which they can play and the multiple threats. I just feel like I was watching. If you didn't know that there's a new generation taking over the league, you knew it by watching opening night.
Yeah, and it's because when you look at OKC, first and foremost, their best player plays on both ends of the court.
Hmm.
That's a problem for a lot of the elite teams in this league.
Hmm.
They have a guy that can score it, but it's like, hey, Jalen Brunson can score it. The Knicks got a guy that can score it, but Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns don't play defense. In May, that's going to get exploited. So they're going to go after your best player. So you look at OKC, their best player is capable of getting 30, 40, 50 on any given night. He competes defensively, is a true leader and culture setter. And then on top of that, they have all two-way players around them.
Yeah.
All guys that, hey, this guy can either score it or shoot it and defend. Lou Dort, if he's at the top of the key or the corners, he can hit those shots and he can defend. You can't leave Lou Dort wide open in the corners. He can hit those shots.
Yeah.
If you look, when J-Dub is there, and I know he's hurt right now, but when he gets back into the fold, J-Dub can play on the ball, off the ball, and he gets after you defensively. Chet Holmgren is one of the best bigs in the league at switching the pick and roll and not giving up a shot or giving up anything at the rim. And his jumper looked extra crispy last night, too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, look at how many – I'm going down the list. Well, where do you attack this team? OKC is probably one of the better rosters full of two-way guys. Yep. And if you have a bunch of two-way players, and that just simply means guys that do well on offense and defense, you're going to be a hard team to deal with. And then they have size. And then they can play small. They can play big. They can play double big. Like they can go with Chet at the 5, or they can go with Chet and Hartenstein in the game and be huge. Like there's so many different layers to why OKC is the best team right now. And there's other teams that have that same formula. Golden State doesn't have that. The Lakers do not have that. Like I can tell you right now how teams are going to beat the Lakers in May. They're going to put Luka and DeAndre
May.
Ayton in the pit.
May.
No, because there's a different style from the regular season to the playoffs.
Okay.
And in the playoffs, they are really, really, really going to hunt your weakness. So, like, you might see a regular season game and Luka's just coming out there doing what he wants to do. And then you get into a playoff game, and he's doing what he wants to do, but you're watching the game like, wow, they're really making him guard every single possession.
Yeah.
And, like, teams are going to be like, okay, if Luka's going to go into a pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton on one end, I want to see how DeAndre Ayton and Luka going to guard the pick and roll on the other end. They're going to run. They're going to do exactly what they did to the Lakers last year. They ran their bigs off the court. Once they ran the Lakers' bigs off the court, then Minnesota just started running down the lane and just laying it up in their face. There's no rim protection. You got to have athletic versatility, and you got to have size. You need some 6'8", 6'9" guys on the wing that defend and hit shots. You need some 7-footers that clean stuff up behind you. If you don't have any of that, the Lakers don't have that. Golden State doesn't have it. Well, Golden State has one guy like that, Kuminga, but he's not always in the good graces of the coaching staff.
We'll see where that goes, yeah.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, he looked good on opening night.
He did.
But all I'm saying is that if you don't have multiple guys with size on the wing and then some guys in the paint that can go get it done, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
I don't see the Lakers in May. I don't. I think it's going to be a long season for them. This roster is not built for Luka Doncic at all, and it took Dallas a couple of years to build the kind of roster that he could work with.
I can't wait. It's not only that. It's that this is going to be the first time in LeBron James' life that nobody cares what he has to say. From an organizational standpoint. Like, this is going to be the first time, hey, I think we need this. Okay. Hey, Luka, what you think?
Yep.
This is going to be the first time when the coach and Luka are, like, JJ and Luka are working together. And, hey, Bron, we'll get to you in a second. Like, that is going to be very different. And LeBron is not going to like it. I'm telling you that. He's not going to like it.
Doesn't like it. You saw him at the end of the bench. He looked like one of those Eastern Island statues.
Yeah, man. It's going to be the
entire game. Like, you would have thought he was in a theater and was not part of the team. Like,
I'm just saying, like,
I don't know what that was.
That is the part of the game that a lot of people are talking about. Because when Bron comes back, it's the Luka show.
Yep.
It's what he wants. It's how he feels comfortable. It's the plays that he wants to run. It's no longer your show. And it's been his show since he popped on the scene in the early 2000s in high school. So that is going to be something that is going to be incredibly tough for JJ Redick to manage and navigate, because the hardest person to coach is an aging superstar. It is one of the a role player got to listen. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, you can be up out of here or you can be nailed to. But an aging superstar is like, I can't talk to him like he's a role player because he has Hall of Fame pedigree. In that situation, this guy has GOAT pedigree. And then on top of that, but he ain't the guy right now.
But he is a role player right now.
This young dude is the guy.
Yep.
He's the future. He's who everything is built around. This is going to be an incredibly interesting season, full of storylines that I'm sure will be leaked out through Ramona Shelburne.
Yeah. There you go.
We know who gonna leak what stories. We already know.
As Jeannie Buss tries to control the narrative.
Happy International Women's Day.
Yep. There you go. All right. Well, we have to get up out of here. That is it for this episode of Finding the Seams. Thanks for joining us. We will be back next week. Brendan, always a pleasure.
All right, my man.